it's Leilani for God. I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit more about what's going on with the Beamteam because it's very disappointing to me that the Beamteam people who just quit, they won't come forward and tell what they know about world news, the kulu, and their criminal activity, the invasions of privacy, the extent that they will go to just to create content. And the type of content that World and Kulu are into is the type of content they would not made on themselves. Finding out people's addresses, their real names, the families and friends, their jobs, the levels that World and Kulu and the Beamteam would go to target, harass, and stalk people is known as gang stalking. And then when people try to defend themselves against World News or Kulu, they just continue to harass that person endlessly. And it's being exposed by myself as well as many, many others. That's why I have a playlist on my channel called World News Exposed. It has over 220 videos in there. So you guys can see just how many people have been exposing World for several years for his criminal stalking activity on YouTube. I wanted to give more information that I didn't get to go over in my last live. My last live was about a week ago, but it was way too long. I was on for like 5.5 hours. And so I noticed that I was getting exhausted towards the end of the video. I was out of energy, so I couldn't keep going. But someone who was on Beamteam came in my live and started harassing me. So I'm going to be exposing that in this video, as well as there were people who kept coming in the room like during the live who didn't understand all of the things that I had said for the first few hours of the live. So we're going to go over different information in this live, but I'm going to be more clear and concise in explaining exactly what I'm talking about for those people who joined the live late last time. They may have been confused about, why I was screaming and yelling and cursing people out. After a couple of hours of talking about this stuff, it just got very chaotic because I was trying to manage the chat and deliver my content and argue with people in the chat. So I'm not going to do that in this video. Let's focus on the information. Okay, so that's why we're here. This person on the screen is World News. That is the name he's gone by on YouTube for a very long time, for several years. He's had about 10 channels deleted, but he continues to make new channels against YouTube policy. He uses his platform to expose women who are harmless and defenseless, and he manages to convince groups of people to join him in gang stalking, targeting, and harassing innocent, harmless people. He has lost the Beamteam at least 3 times. So the fact that I'm reporting that he lost the Beamteam just in the past 2 weeks, this is the 3rd time in his history on YouTube that he's lost a team of people. I'm going to show you proof of that in the course of this video. He also lost a whole team of people that called themselves Beamteam on another social media app called Bigo. World News also operates on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. The level of criminality that this guy, he calls himself King World. He doesn't own anything. All of his information is like stolen from other places. He has no originality. But the problem is he's on these different platforms, stalking and harassing and being a criminal, exposing people's nudes, calling people constantly on their phones or on their like instant messaging and direct messaging, leaving them nasty messages, women who have done nothing to him. So he's just bringing criminality with him wherever he goes to different platforms. And he doesn't need to be on the internet because he's not a civilized human being. This is a demonic spirit. And you can tell he had the nerve to upload this picture of himself on his own channel. Just a couple of days ago, he did a short video and he put his face in the camera looking like this. Now, he has a history of substance abuse. He went to jail for being caught with narcotics that were in prescription form, but they were not his prescriptions. So it's not completely unfounded to say that he may have a substance abuse problem. He looks extremely skinny. He's very paranoid. He's always going off and cursing people out that are not even arguing with him. So there's definitely a problem with him. The reason I'm exposing all of this stuff is because I'm asking the people who either still are trying to stick with him on Beamteam, as well as the people who left, why did they tolerate all of his demonic activity? Why did they enable him? Why did they sit there and let him holler and scream and curse out dozens of women on YouTube? And why didn't they leave him sooner? And now that they've left him, why are they scared to expose him? Okay, they've broken up about 2 weeks ago. Why haven't they been out here making obvious videos that say, I was on Beamteam, I'm not messing with him anymore, and these are my reasons? Now, a couple of the Beamteam people did pass through my last live, and two of them left comments under my last video. One of them did say the reason why she left Beamteam is because World News directly accused her of taking down one of his last channels. He lost 2 channels recently that had his highest number of subscribers on them. So because he can't control himself, and because he's temperamental, and because he's too mentally ill to blame himself, he went off on one of his female Beamteam members and accused her of I guess, going behind his back to have his channel flagged, which is completely irrational and unfounded. But he finds it very easy to disrespect women, and he often targets primarily Black women because he's a coward. I'm going to go over all of the men that challenged him to a fight, but he didn't show up for that. Okay? Why? Because he is a coward. Now, when I saw World's face looking like that, the first thing that came to mind for me was the goat Lucy, this Baphomet devil face. The shape of his face, like my brother Godfear TV called it out, he looks like his face is like a V. You know, to me, his head looks like a light bulb. But if you look at him, he looks like the goat Lucy, this Baphomet, and it's because his spirit is evil and wicked. World's been arrested 91 times. That's not a normal person. That is some type of psychopath or sociopath. Okay? He's not normal. His spirit is demonic. He talked on his channel about either his mother or his grandmother being into voodoo and witchcraft and having cats and stuff like that. He never praises God. In fact, World, he refers to himself as God, but he spells it like GAWD. He writes in some of his titles, I am your God. Now, he calls himself the God of content. He steals all of his taglines and catchphrases from other YouTubers. Him saying that the Beamteam is the Make It Make Sense network. He stole that from Tommy Sotomayor. Tommy used to always say, make it make sense. Like, certain YouTubers have catchphrases they repeat over and over again or whatever. So even if you heard it before, you know, like sometimes people say stuff on YouTube that's old folk sayings, you know. But anyway, when World News says make it make sense, and his channel is the Make It Make Sense network, he stole that from Tommy Sotomayor. World News, his logo is the McDonald's thing. He has no creativity. Okay? So it's just weird that people can't see through him, that he has no knowledge. It's weird. He will sit there and say, oh, I'm going to break down the science upon of how this astrology is. Astrology is not a science. Like, he will tell you something is science that's not science. And people in his audience, they'll be like, oh, yeah, he's so smart. He's so deep. He's the God of content. Like, oh, my goodness gracious. So these are some of the channels that have been exposed. And these 2 people that left Beamteam, they have been exposing World. Saint LaShawn the Don and 8 with the 24. But they left Beamteam like they were the second wave of people to leave Beamteam, right? Because I said he already lost 3 sets of Beamteam groups. So Saint LaShawn the Don and 8 with the 24, they were like the second wave. And there's more people in addition to them that left Beamteam. The second, okay, this is probably why I'm being hard on this new 3rd wave of people who left Beamteam. The second wave of people who left, they did expose World. Most of them did. Saint LaShawn and Dawn, 8 with the 24, Goddess Sekhmet, Soul Energy, God Mama, Divine, that was like the second wave of his team that called themselves Beamteam. All of those people made videos and exposed world. So now I'm wondering why this third wave of people, why they're not exposing him. And some of them have contacted me and told me, oh, keep my name out your mouth. Now, I told them individually, okay, I want to address you. Okay, fine. That's fine. Okay, because I wasn't dragging them. I'm dragging World and Kulu. But the fact of the matter is, it's extremely unfair for them to say I shouldn't speak on their name when I'm only speaking on them in regards to Beamteam. But Beamteam sat around for years. They sit around for so many hours and speak on everybody else's name. So how is it that now you're excluded? They said horrible, terrible things about all kind of innocent, harmless people that did nothing to them, that did nothing to world. They spoke on those people's names all day, all night for weeks, days, and months, called those people all kind of disparaging names, looked up all their addresses, looked up all their Instagrams, all their Facebooks, found out who their friends and family was, talked bad about them. But you're going to come and tell me to keep my name out your mouth. Make that make sense. How many people names did you have on your mouth on social media in public, but you can't be talked about? So I told people I would not speak on them. So I respect that. And I won't say their names, but I'm still going to drag the Beamteam as a group of gang stalkers that aided and abetted a career criminal in harassing and stalking and invading the privacy of countless Black women. And the majority of people who support World and send him money and sit up in his chats all day and all night, and who's telling me to keep their names out of my mouth, is Black women. When I made my first video exposing World, it was Black and Hispanic women in my chat trying to argue with me and come at me. It's weird because he's extremely abusive towards women. They sit there and enable it. And now you want to tell me to keep your name out of my mouth? If you put World's name in your mouth and you come forward and expose him, I would not have to make these videos. I've never been on Beamteam. It was common sense that I happened to notice that he wasn't having panels. Nobody was there. 2 weeks had passed. I know how rude and disrespectful he is. So I know that it wasn't his choice to not have a panel. I knew something had to happen. So I started doing my investigation because he demands that Beamteam show up on every single panel he does all day, all night long. So these are some of the channels that he's lost. I want to show you guys because I don't understand why YouTube keeps letting him keep coming back on YouTube and make new channels. They shut Tommy Sotomayor down. Every time Tommy tried to come back this year and make a new channel or even revert to some of his old channels, YouTubers kept shutting Tommy Sotomayor down. So Tommy tried to get back on YouTube this year like 6 to 8 times, but YouTubers kept saying, no. They kept reporting him. He's lost too many channels. He shouldn't be here. World News is doing so much horrible, terrible stuff to people. They have orders of protection against him behind YouTube. Okay, it should not be that serious. So I don't understand why everybody's sitting back and letting World keep operating on YouTube. So here are 6 channels that he lost. Here's another one. 2K19, another one. World News 7. Here's another one. World News 789. Okay, this was 4 years ago. World News 789. 5 years ago, he had World News 7. 3 years ago, he had the W2K19. And then he had all these 6, over the, I don't know how many years or whatever the case may be. So you guys can get the idea. This has been going on with World keep making channels on YouTube for at least 5 years. Why is he still here? And in different sectors, he continues to display the same criminal behavior. The stalking, doxxing, hacking, making threats against women, releasing their nudes, being relentless on social media with defaming people's characters, with information that is sometimes not even true. People who have businesses, people who have real lives outside of YouTube, this man will sit up and make up all type of lies and stories on you just because you're a family member or a friend of somebody that he's also wrongfully targeting and exposing. So I was making a video exposing Donat when somebody put this comment. They said, If you look into World, you'll see he's just like Nature Boy himself. There are plenty of videos on what World has done and does to women and other YouTubers. I think there's a surviving World video on the T's channel. And this person was absolutely correct. She was basically saying, you're exposing Donat, but World is like even worse. So I replied to her, I said, yes, I did a search for World News Exposed, and there's over 20 channel holders from YouTube and Bigo exposing exposing his abuse of women, over 90 separate arrests, and general disrespect towards his own mods, panelists, and guests. He even gets exposed for going on other channels and screaming at their guests too, when nobody is even arguing with him. So at that time, in that moment, I just did a quick search after I read her comment. I knew World was a disagreeable being in a demonic spirit, but I had never searched to see how many people were exposing him. So at that point, I started to do a little more research, and I found so many more videos that I just started to add them to a playlist. So my next video, like shortly after this comment was made, this was like 3 months ago, I made a World News Exposed video. And at that time, it was like 138 videos by 80 YouTubers. And in the past 3 months, 100 new videos have been made about World, and I've added them to the playlist. So there are a lot of people who are not afraid to expose World and have already exposed him for stalking, doxxing, harassing, beating women up. When men step to him to fight him, he says, oh, I was a crack baby. My mother sold me for drug money. And he'll run away, buy a bus ticket and skip town. He'll do anything to avoid fighting a man. But there's like at least 30, 40, 50 women that he has, just completely tried to intimidate, scare, and verbally beat up on all over YouTube. So it's like he's not changing for the better. 3 years ago, the YouTuber at the top of the screen, Army of Victimone, made a video that says World News is carbonation. And the T had exposed that in her video on World. That World had made public posts on like Instagram or Twitter or something where he was like basically proclaiming Nature Boy's kingdom. Like World News wrote posts that like, we need your help. We need y'all to donate. We need y'all to share this information on behalf of carbonation. So World made himself a member of carbonation. But Nature Boy rejected him. So then he went on a vendetta to expose Nature Boy because he was angry that he couldn't like be down with Nature Boy's cult. And so what World did, according to the second wave of people who left Beamteam and exposed World tried to use Beamteam as a way to recreate his own little carbonation. So the kulu would be his right-hand man, which would be like Solar to Nature Boy. And the women that joined Beamteam, World tried to make them his wives, but it didn't work out because he always lives with women because he's not worried about making money to take care of his children or himself. So he'd rather sit on the internet all day and harass and stalk people and make content out of it. Just like Nature Boy, I'm just going to live online and demand that my supporters send me donations. And so World tried to make the women of the Beamteam into his wives, and some of them were kind of going for it. But World is such an unstable character, perhaps from mental illness or perhaps from substance abuse or a combination of the two, that even after these women were sending him money and stuff like that, he was just still being so aggressive towards them. When they didn't do what he wanted, he started to release their nudes, which is what Nature Boy is in jail for right now. So, World literally is a carbon copy of Nature Boy. Okay. So at the bottom, it says Malia degraded by Nature Boy while Natiri sits there. And this was Nature Boy. He used to curse these women out, beat them up, put them in a closet, and then put them on the internet and make them tell stories but they can only speak in the language and in the way that Nature Boy wanted them to speak. They couldn't have their own mind. And World is the same way. If you try to engage him in a conversation and you don't say exactly what he wants you to say, exactly the way he wants you to say it, he'll overtalk you, curse you out, mute you, and drop you off his panel. And then he'll say you ran away. Okay? So these people are like bird brains. They're big, tall men, but their brain is very, very small. They don't have the capacity to engage in what's called a dialogue. They don't know that conversation is a sender and a receiver. They don't know how to debate. They don't know, excuse me, they don't know how to be wrong. Sometimes you're wrong. You win some, you lose some. Someone corrected me today because on my Boosie video, I had said that Boosie was making fun of women. What he was saying something to the effect of he wished his girlfriend would get like plastic surgery. So I was going off about that in my video about Boosie, or I think my video about DC Young Fly. So somebody in the comments was like, well, actually, that's not the way Boosie meant it. So first I disagreed with the person, and then I went and I did the research, because if y'all disagree with me, I'm going to look into it. Even if I disagree with you, I'm going to think first, is this person right? I'm going to give that a thought. It's a possibility that the person is right. So I went and I looked at the original clip of Boosie's voice saying he wished his girlfriend would get a BBL. But after he said it, he said he would take her car keys and like try to prevent her from getting the surgery, you know? So I went back and I told the person in my comment section, I said, you know what, you're right. I said, I'm biased against Boosie because he's made so many perverted sexual comments about Black women in the past that I automatically got on the defensive. But in this case, he was not being insensitive towards women, you know? And that's it. The person was happy. We resolved it. They was right. I gave them their credit. It's in public on the platform. I'm not hiding it. But you never hear Nature Boy or World News be able to be like, oh, you know what? You made a good point. I looked into it. You was right. You got that. They have to be right. They have to control. They have to dominate. They have to manipulate. They have to humiliate. They have to expose every single little detail about the lives of other people. But you cannot do any of that to them. They'll fly off the handle and try to become violent or threaten you with harm, or use their flying monkeys to now start to stalk, harass, dox, and intimidate you as retaliation, because they don't have the intelligence, the common sense, or the humanity or the civility to engage conversation, debate, dialogue. They can't do it. I've never seen either one of them do it. So they might just have the same like type of mental illness. And come to think about it, I don't know why I didn't think about this sooner. Nature Boy said he was a crack baby too. So they both claim to be crack babies. So that could be the issue. Their brains never properly formed from the beginning. So now society has to deal with all of their violent aggression. It's not fair. It's not right that regular normal people should have to deal with these type of criminal demonic spirits terrorizing people who's just trying to get a little entertainment on YouTube. Here it says, Divine explains how the Beamteam women left Girl News at World News and why. Okay, so the video is on YouTube. It's also in the playlist that I made, World News Exposed, if you guys want to see it. And this is part of the second wave of people who left World's Beamteam, and they exposed him. Okay, so the second wave of people, they made their videos, they did their interviews, they made it known when it happened. Okay, I just want this new group that just left him to do the same thing. They've had 2 weeks to decompress. The same way they pressed everybody that World made them press for information on every single little detail of their lives. I want the Beamteam that just left World News to reveal every single little detail of what happened with the Beamteam and why they broke up. Be the same way with this situation as y'all have been towards all of the people that y'all have demanded tell y'all everything that was none of y'all's business. All right, so the video here says why I left Beamteam in World News by Godmama 2 years ago. Okay. So this was, she was probably in the first, I would say that would be the first wave of people who, when Beamteam broke up. So World has had more waves, because right now I'm only on 3. So Godmama was 2 years ago, right? So that was what I thought was the first wave, because the second wave with Divine, which you see right below Godmama, is 1 year ago. So every year he loses a team. God Mama says, why I left Beamteam and World News 2 years ago. This is Divine. She was talking on Bigo. She left the Beamteam 1 year ago, right? But World has lost, well, I guess it wasn't his team. He was on other people's teams. Before this, he was in the Kanika Jenkins sector, and he got kicked out of there. So he got kicked off of those teams. What I don't, maybe they just didn't call themselves Beam Team. So now he came to the Nature Boy sector, and now the Jaguar Right sector, and trying to recreate what he was a part of in the Kanika Jenkins sector. But he's trying to be the leader, whereas in the Kanika Jenkins sector, he was on other people's teams. So, World cannot work well with other people. Every year, either he gets kicked off the team or everybody on his team abandons him because he's criminally insane. You can't talk to him. You can't get through to him. He's never wrong. He's the only one entitled to dominate, expose, and curse people out. Okay, so this is God Mama. In her video she did 2 years ago when she was exposing why she left the Beam Team. Now, her video, the audio is bad, but 2 other people caught an interview she did on Bigo and they put it on YouTube. It's in my World News Exposed playlist. If y'all want specifically to know what I'm talking about, which 2 videos, let me know in the comment section and I will post the link for you to an interview that God Mama did where you can hear her clearly. And she said that she was pregnant and World News was being verbally abusive. She said that she's the one who said that he was trying to organize the women on Beam Team into being his wives. She said that there was some indication that he was sexually attracted to transsexuals, but he was living off of older women that he was not attracted to. So he was always all day, all night on the computer looking for sexual pictures and foot pictures and stuff like that instead of paying attention to the women he was living off of. And yeah, she just talked about just how bad his personality was, what a bad human being he was. He's using women for money and a place to stay, but then he's extremely abusive to women. So it's like, you the bum ass that need women. So why do you think the only way to deal with women is to be abusive? Right? Because your mother was fucked up. That doesn't mean every woman is fucked up. So somebody wrote under God Mama's video, they said, I'd really comment my opinion on any of his lives due to the backlash I may receive. Can you imagine? You don't want to comment your opinion in a World News Live because you may receive backlash. This was 2 years ago somebody said this. The person says, the last time I commented, you were very rude to me for no reason at all. You were also rude to others, just wanting to participate in the conversation. I've seen it myself and experienced it firsthand. You went along with the mean girl behavior until you felt mistreated, God Mama. I just have to say your response to comments were very rude, and people shouldn't have been treated that way just for giving unbiased opinions. You yourself were very mean and nasty. God Mama replies, I can stand in my own accountability and say there were probably times that I wasn't in my character. I appreciate you holding me accountable. I truly apologize for any ill will towards you or others. On some honest shit, it is similar to the cult mentality. I know publicly it looked like I was okay with this until it happened to me, but I'm a private person and like to handle conflict privately. I've addressed many times how I didn't like something, and the main reason why I left is because he was abusing my sisters. Not just for me, because I kept mine silent until they reached out and said their story, and then the confirmation came that I have to get away quickly. So this was just 2 years ago. God Mama is saying, you're right. When I was on Beam Team, I was mean and rude and disrespectful to the guests in the audience, just like World. And she held in the fact that World was being verbally abusive towards her. But when she found out that other women on the Beam Team was also being World was being abusive towards them financially and verbally, then they made a plan to we're all going to leave. Right? That's an abusive relationship. When you give and the person still abuses you and you can't talk them out of it or nothing. And then you have to make an escape plan. And the several women had to talk about it like, oh, you're going through this too, me too, me too. But first of all, if y'all would have paid attention to how he's treating the general public, that should have been enough. You should not help him. You should be like, you know what? I wouldn't want nobody talking to me like that on social media or anywhere. Why are we sitting here letting this man act up and treat people bad, and we're all going to be quiet and keep it in? It's just weird because it's the internet. It's not like, oh, you're one of the women that live in his household to where you really have to live in fear of him. Someone else left a comment under God Mama's video exposing World. They said, I'm so glad you left because a lot of us already knew how World is and he will not change. And someone wrote below that, that's why I quit watching too. Seems many have. And then his community post basically being rude that he's not getting money, like it's our fault, was a major turnoff for me. It seemed that he had no intentions of helping anybody. He's jealous of Nature Boy, in my honest opinion. And they said it's wild. Some don't see it, but you're right. They will eventually. So people have been leaving comments under God Mama's video saying, finally, you know, I knew from an audience member that something was wrong, but I'm glad that you got out of that situation. Somebody left a comment, what happened with Nikki? That must be another panelist or Beamteam member that left. And then someone said, what happened with a lot of them? Because it's a lot of people went missing. I don't even see Miss Meat in his comments anymore. I be chilling in the bushes watching. So this was a year ago when they said they didn't see Miss Meat anymore. It seems like every wave that I've noticed that World News has lost people. I've noticed he's lost 3 teams. Every year he loses his whole team. Like I said, they're primarily women. I would see Miss Meat is not there. Like she don't be there for a while. A few months go by and then she comes back. And from the times I've heard her speak, she said she's married. So I don't know what her addiction is to World News, but she has sat back for several years and watched him lose whole teams of people, individuals. There were certain women that got on his panel that was trying to be nice to him. A lady that had donated to Carbonation, she got on there a few times and spoke. And this other lady, she seemed to be like a professional and she was smart and she had a lot of insight and stuff. And then all of a sudden you see these people like a few times on his panel, and then one day you don't never hear them again. And you like, you know, World probably done said something rude to them and made them feel like I don't even need to come back here. So there's just been a lot of loss of people that could have, you know, World can't network. He can't maintain friendships and relationships because he's just a demonic spirit. So these were the people I was asking in my last video to come forward. Giselle Cozart, Swirl Gang, 3 Easy, Michelle Fletcher, Raz King, Gemini Goddess, Essence. I missed somebody else. I think it was Isaac. And I'm saying you guys were helping this guy for all of this time. I want y'all to come forward and expose him, right? And some of them got mad at me. And some of them did expose what they know, right? But I want them to be just as specific, intentional, public, vocal, and verbal as they were when they were sitting up on his panel, dragging all of those innocent, harmless people. Okay, let's have the same energy. All right. Now, I think one of the people on this list is pregnant. I don't want that person to be involved in anything that makes them feel uncomfortable or stressful. So I would give that person a free pass if they don't want to get involved. That's understandable. I wouldn't want to talk about World News when I'm pregnant. But everybody else, you know, you have no excuse. Y'all spend too much time hollering, screaming, yelling, cursing, and talking over everybody else on World's panel. The least y'all could do is make a panel and talk about World the same way. I was asking mostly Kulu. I wasn't even really pressing the Beamteam in my last video. I'm pressing the Beamteam in this video. In my last video, I was really pressing Kulu. I was saying, why does Kulu live streaming ignore all the YouTube women that have taken legal action against World, including Giselle, the T, Crenshaw, Saint LaShawna Dawn, and myself? We all had to go to the police on this guy. And now Danny Robertson, I'm going to show you guys some proof of that in this video. Danny has had to go to the police on them. Why does Kulu live streaming ignore all the ex-Beamteam members who got attacked by World? Female YouTubers harassed by World. So there's all of these lists of names. I'm asking Kulu these open questions because Kulu likes to get on his platform and also invade other people's privacy. He likes to call up people's family members. He likes to interview all type of friends and relatives and associates of the cult people that he's investigating. So I don't understand why the kulu can't be questioned and why he won't answer. He came over here during my last video. From what I could see from the chat, he was respectful. I didn't see him being rude, but I can't read all the comments while I'm also talking and reading the screen. But I don't think he answered any of the questions. And that's a problem, because the kulu sit up there with world news and they demand so much information from everybody else. Where were you? What time? You got kids? How many? Where y'all live? All this stuff. Who's having sex with who? All this stuff that's none of his business. They love asking sexual questions. World into kulu asked Sweet Ma to answer all type of sexual questions, and she did. Oh, what does the naked body look like? What did the breast look like? Did you use any sex toys? What? How big was it? What? They love asking people the most invasive questions, but they can't be questioned on nothing? Get out of here. This was Giselle on the Perry's channel, Z Giselle Cozart, who's now no longer with World and is alleged to have filed paperwork, police reports on World, because World doxed her on his platform because he got mad and he could not control himself after all of the years that Giselle been sending World money and kissing his butt, even though he's a demonic spirit. So 3 months ago, Z Giselle Cozart wrote under Perry's channel, she said, I have already said what I think Jacqueline is. I'm a mental health counselor. I'm not a psychiatrist, but most of my friends are doctors, psychiatrists, counselors like I am. I have sent all of Kyng World 2020 videos to my psychiatrist friends. We sit around on our off day. We analyze them and talk about it. So I think this is just me from my experience, my license, me working with patients like her, talking about Jaguar Wright. I think she's bipolar, manic with psychosis features plus the delusion. And if anyone has any of these mentally ill episodes, you know what I'm talking about. If you look up the meaning, you will see they connect with Jacqueline with her actions. I spoke to some of my psychiatrist friends in this field. This is also what they told me they see. Once again, it's not a diagnosis. It's not a diagnosis. It's only what I see. That's all I'm saying. What I see from my experience of working with these people like her, 100, Z Giselle Cozart. So she's trying to tell Perry she believes that Jaguar is bipolar. First of all, Jaguar has stated that she's bipolar. You don't have to figure that out. Jaguar has already stated numerous times that she's bipolar. That's number one. Number two, if Giselle is a mental health professional, which I am as well, how does she not see that World is a completely criminally insane whack job? The things that World says don't make sense. He makes up stories that aren't true. He drags people based on their physical appearance. He calls people the tooth. He calls people fat. He calls people all types of mean, derogatory, childish names. How does Giselle overlook all of that as a mental health issue of a man of his age? How does she overlook the amount of time that World News spends on the internet? And she can't see that that's an addiction. That World has an addictive personality disorder when it comes to drugs. But when people have addictive personality, it also can translate into other areas. Okay, so he's obviously addicted to the internet. He's obviously temperamental. He's obviously narcissistic. How did Giselle not see all of that? And then on top of that, what is she talking about? She sent all of Kyng World 2020 videos to her psychiatrist friends, and they sit around and analyze it on her day off. She was calling into his show and sitting on his panel while she was at work. So you mean to tell me even when she got off of work, she's still listening to World? He has so much negative energy. It's like, how could you? How could you spend that much time invested in him? And then you want to talk about Jaguar Wright's mental health illness? How the hell did she not pick up on World News' mental illness? All right, so she left that comment under Perry's channel 3 months ago. Now, Giselle has a police report against World News for doxing her, allegedly. Okay, my sources told me it's true. One of the people who sat on Beamteam's panel and exposed and talked about other people's business for weeks, days, months, and years contacted me and said it was not true. However, until they come forward and expose the truth about world news, I will not allow them to trick me into retracting anything that I've said. Because if you want to fight against me instead of world news, that just means that you have a demonic spirit too. Someone wrote a comment. Apparently, he's been charging people for moderator wrenches. He took Giselle's wrench because she was late on her PayPal payment. Okay, so a year ago, mind you, here's Giselle 3 months ago saying she was sending all the world news content to all of her friends and watching it even like when she wasn't at work. That was 3 months ago. But a year ago, World took her wrench away because she was late on her PayPal payment. How did this person know? Soul Energy, because this person was also a person who used to be frequently on World News panel. And then when her and Goddess Sekhmet, they didn't show up when World went live, he cursed them out because they was not available to be on the panel. World spends all day. He spends more than 8 hours a day on the internet. You cannot expect everybody to be there every time for the whole time. That's irrational. So whatever attachment, rejection, childhood trauma that he has, abandonment issues, this is how he expresses it. He just wants way too much, and he thinks everybody's supposed to bow to him. And if you don't do what he says, then he's going to give you a narcissistic discard. That means he's going to slander you, defame you, and try to hurt you as many ways as he can. And he'll enroll as many people as he can to help him do it. Right? So this is an example I gave in my last video, so you guys can look at this yourself. This was about 2 weeks ago. Trey host, King World, and these other panelists, Z Giselle. Okay? They have not been there for the past 2 weeks. World would not accept that. Okay? If they were still on Beamteam, he would have cursed them out for not showing up on his panel for 2 weeks. He would have been like, that's it, you're fired. So the fact that they're not there is way out of character for them and for World. And the fact that World's not talking about it and they're not talking about it, I think it's unfair. Tell us what happened. Tell the truth. Spill the beans. It's just like Wendy Williams. She built her whole career on telling other people's business, some of which may or may not have been true. Who's gay, who's broke, who's going through difficulties in their career, right? She talked about this. All Wendy Williams talk about is celebrities. Then when the paparazzi found out that Wendy Williams' husband was cheating on her and was having a baby by another woman, Wendy didn't want to talk about it. It took her like a couple of years. She didn't talk about it until well after the woman had the baby. So Wendy didn't talk about her husband cheating for 2 years after it was exposed by the paparazzi. Come on, Wendy. You built your whole career talking about other celebrities who was getting cheated on and all this type of stuff. But when it come to you, oh, no. You don't want to talk about it. Right? Jaguar right now. She's saying she's going to strike anybody who talks about her. And she's striking people's YouTube channels for talking about her. And TJ is saying, oh, we're going to charge for membership so people can pay. And they better not share the content. And we're going to strike them. How did Jaguar Wright become popular on YouTube? Oh, that's right. Talking about other people, talking about celebrities. If she wasn't talking about Jay-Z, Beyonce, Tevin Campbell, Alicia Keys, Mary J. Blige, Puff Daddy, she talked about all of these A-list celebrities, all their personal business, who's gay, the males and the females, all type of criminal activity they may or may not be involved in. She accused them of killing people and all type of stuff, right? But now Jaguar's saying she don't want nobody talking about her. This is insanity. That's narcissism. It's a side effect of their larger mental health illnesses. These people refuse to take their medication, to go to treatment, to go to drug rehab, and go to therapy. They refuse to heal their childhood trauma. So they're projecting it onto the general public as if them abusing us is going to somehow make them feel better. And obviously it doesn't, because they continue to do it. Like, at what point are they going to get healing? At what point? Yeah, I guess that's the ambulance going to pick them up. At what point are they going to, address their mental health illnesses? Okay? Because they're continuing to be dysfunctional for years on social media. And they're not making the connection between two and two. This is why you're not successful. It's because you're dysfunctional, and it's disgusting. It's toxic. It's often illegal, and it's completely out of order. Who are you to get on the internet and curse people out and threaten them every day? But nobody can say anything about you. So here goes World News with his light bulb head looking like a like he was born prematurely. Sorry guys, I touched the screen too many times. So here goes World with his light bulb head looking like a premature crack baby with his cheap Looney Tunes t-shirt on. You can see he's still trapped in childhood with the crown and the cheap cartoon t-shirts, the refusal to grow up, be a grown man, get a trade and get a job. All these years that he's been out of prison. He's been out of prison for like 10 years. What has he accomplished? He's just like Jaguar Wright. They can't do anything productive in society. They can't get a job. They can't keep a job. They can't get relationships. They can't keep relationships. The only purpose of relationships is for people to just be financially and verbally abused by them, to be completely controlled and manipulated by them. So he comes out with this video 2 weeks ago. Did Jaguar Wright really physically have an altercation with TJ? And then you see below that, the Kulu, World News is hostage. He looks like he's on Guantanamo Bay, growing out his hair and his beard. Okay. So the Kulu follows up with King World calls Jaguar Wright and TJ full audio and AT2 exclusive interview. So this never happened. Jaguar Wright and TJ never had a physical altercation. But look how many hours World News sat around and talked about something that never happened. 6 hours, 20 minutes, 5 seconds. And Kulu has to always piggyback World News. His video, 2 hours, 44 minutes, 52 seconds. Talking about stuff that doesn't matter, that's not important, and that's none of their business. Okay? And how many times has this man here, Kulu, live streaming, said he's not going to talk about Jaguar anymore? He said it so many times, and he's still talking about Jaguar almost every day. Why? Because of this traumatized child in an adult man's body. Okay? People are wondering, does World have blackmail on Kulu? Okay? Is he blackmailing you? Is there something going on that you need to tell us, Kulu? Do you need to blink twice? Because you must have Stockholm syndrome, or you have a demonic spirit yourself, because you've been helping World carry out his criminal activity a lot. So I was watching a video, and a lady did something that World News and Kulu always says that people do. World and Kulu have bragged that they have put out fake information on YouTube just to sit back and watch other YouTubers pick it up and run with it. And that's probably why they put out this video. Did Jaguar Wright really physically have an altercation with TJ to get, and other people said it, and then come to find out it was never true. So he did it again. World put out some information that Nature Boy had Puerto Rico charge and he was getting out of jail. So World does this for clickbait. He's so desperate for clicks and views and attention, right? Just like Jaguar, they care more about the attention than they do about the money. They want people to pay them attention. I guess they were so neglected and abandoned as children that they just desperately begging for attention. Like, they want attention more than money. They don't have their own homes. They don't have their own anything. They don't even have decent clothes. To be adults, they don't have like a wardrobe of an adult. Neither Jaguar nor King World. Because they don't care about money. They care about attention. They both need to go to therapy. They both need to get their diagnosis, take their medication, go to group therapy, individual therapy, psychotherapy. They need to make AA meetings, NA meetings. They need to do everything that is publicly available because they're in their 40s and their mental illnesses are only going to continue to worsen. So somebody said, you're the best. World News is fake news. This YouTuber she ran with something that World said about Nature Boy's case, which was not true. So she had to come back and make a video and explain a completely different story. The lie that World News put out about Nature Boy case was not even nowhere near related to the truth. So she had to come back and correct herself. And she took responsibility. She said, oh, I didn't research it myself. I just ran with the information. So now I'm making a video to correct it. So one of her comments said, kudos to you for doing the research on this and clearing it up. I've seen other channels running with that original story. And that's what World and Kulu do. They've done it several times and they've admitted to it. They have put out false information just to sit back and see who picks up and runs with it. So they can say, we told you so, we told you first. Who does that? You were intentionally lying. For what reason? For what purpose? Just to say, I told you so? I told you that I could put out a lie that other people would agree with. So the person said, I respect the subscribers too much to feed y'all BS. The story of carbonation is crazy enough. We don't need to make stuff up. Someone below her, Irish, said, yes, Lisa is a stand-up content creator. That man World constantly does this. He told people Nature Boy was released a month ago and he caught a RICO charge. What's wrong with him? So basically, Irish is saying, World News is lying about the whole Nature Boy case, trying to make it seem like Nature Boy got out of jail, but it's not true because Nature Boy just got additional charges. Nature Boy caught charges for trying to get illegal contraband delivered to him in prison. And it looks like that may have been upgraded from like felony contraband to possibly RICO because he had to conspire with other people in order to try to get the contraband delivered. But we'll see as time goes on, it will all come out. So here's a YouTuber named King Brujo. He did a couple of videos. He did like 2 or 3 videos exposing World News a year ago. Okay. Have we heard World News become extremely threatening, violent, irate, and verbally abusive towards King Brujo? No, we have not. King Brujo said when he started terrorizing World on YouTube, he didn't terrorize World. He did a few videos exposing him. But he said that World News looked up his Facebook and found his father and messaged his father and was like, oh, can you please tell King Brujo to leave me alone, to stop talking about me? He reached out to King Brujo's father. Okay. Here we have 8 with the 24. 8 with the 24 says, thank you. I can't even see it. Hold on. 8 with the 24 says, thank you, Leilani, for God. I have so much stuff I haven't even posted. I'm a grown man. She is absolutely correct. He won't step to me. He's lied on me and talked about pulling up to houses. He loves to impersonate me and set me up like I did something, using my username to say gay stuff on Sweet Moss for Life chat, only to back down when I privately contacted him. I just said, how about this? I'll save him the money. Let's meet halfway. He deflected, which I have proof of. Everything from him stealing my child's picture in multiple troll accounts. He thought the killing of my 13-year-old nephew was hilarious. Dude stays on here watching people with troll account after troll account. He went from telling people I'm from Canada, I guess so he could lie his way out of things because his convict ass can't get a passport. I'm from Detroit. He just can't track me because I refuse to go on his panel and go back and forth. I want to meet person to person with my hands. I also have IT security skills. He should know what a VPN is by now. Even people who aren't into tech know about them. His failed attempt to hack my Cash App by sending me $1 was hilarious to me. Yet he says I am broke. He's a deadbeat father living off a woman and on the down low. He is jealous that his son makes more money on here than him. By the way, his girlfriend Kulu is Arabic, according to King Brujo. As much as I don't like the things Jaguar Wright does, I can say because of her, more awareness is coming to this predator. So 8 with the 24 has his own channel. He's got 2 channels. He has archives of videos of world news confessing to being a hacker, stalker, and a doxer. 8 with the 24 got into it with world news, and then he challenged world news. He said, let's do a man, let's be like men, one-on-one. Let's shoot the fair one. So world news started telling people that 8 was from Canada, so that world could pretend that it's impossible to meet up with 8 and fight him. So, but what he did do was go on 8's social media profiles, and he found a picture of 8's son, and he tried to use that to attack and insult 8, and try to send $1 to his Cash App to see if he could harass 8 that way. Everything except meeting up with 8 to shoot the fair one. Okay. Okay, here's a comment. Someone under World News video. They said, hey, World News, I would just love to speak with you on your platform about that ass whooping you ran. DM me. Let's set the panel up. So this is a random person in World News comment section saying, hey, what's up? Okay, let's talk about that ass whooping you ran from. DM me. Let's talk about it. Okay, you don't see World talking smack to this guy. You never heard World go on his show and address this. And you see World calls herself the goat Lucy. That's a reference to the devil. That's why his face looks like the devil. He looks exactly like the goat Lucy. Here we have a YouTuber, My Nomad Journey. He did a video, which I posted on my community wall today, that he exposed world news as well. And he also said, why is world attacking defenseless, harmless women, such as Danny Robertson at this time, right? Because whenever people would try to get through to people on the Beam team and say, World is a bad person, he's a dangerous criminal, they would say, oh, that's his past. That's his criminal record from years ago. Y'all are always bringing up his criminal record. We're not holding that against him. That's old. But it's not true. World is currently stalking, doxing, harassing, trying to, Danny, but failing, but doxing other black women who they think is Danny, but it's not. They're doxing other women and saying that, oh, we know you work at a school. We know that you have a son in the other room in your house. Meanwhile, it's not Danny. So there is a real black woman who they know where she works and that she has a child. And they said they've been following her for 3 months and they're going to show up at her job. All of this to harass Danny, who's done nothing to them. Right? So this guy made a video exposing that these guys are harassing Danny. And he's saying, I challenge you to a fair fight. So here comes some mentally challenged black woman, okay, named Christina B. And she's trying to harass and antagonize My Nomad Journey for exposing World last week. So she goes, Beam team, that's why you mad. So My Nomad Journey, he said, go back and tell him I want a one-on-one UFC style fight style. He should try fighting a man. Go back to your leader and tell him he's a clown and do something. So she says, boy, go find you another hobby. You mad? He always got the correct content. You mad? Your show is whack. So I replied to her earlier today. I said, you have no content. Beam team broke up and World beats women. So why are you enabling that criminal? Okay. How stupid is she to not realize that Beam team broke up and she's still claiming Beam team and she never even was on Beam team? It could be a world news troll channel because it has no content. But how can you get on My Nomad Journey's channel and say that his show is whack, but you have no content on your channel? You have no show. And that's the mindset of people when they're on Beam team. They could see everything that's wrong with everybody else, but they don't see that the same exact things and more are wrong with World. So when I posted the Nomad video on my wall today, my community post, Godfear left a comment that he's checking it out. And so I replied to Godfear. I said, Nomad challenged World to a one-on-one MMA style fight. World is quiet as a church mouse because Nomad challenged World to this fight like a week ago or more. You have not heard World say not one word about Nomad. Then I said, you, God Fear TV, challenge World to come outside. World came on God Fear TV's channel, on his panel, and God Fear TV dropped the link for World. And God Fear TV said, I'm going to be dragging you on YouTube until you apologize to all of your victims. So World was like talking all loud and crazy, just saying stuff that didn't matter, things that don't make sense, and not addressing what God Fear TV was saying to him. He was like, you need to apologize to all of your victims. You've hurt and victimized and traumatized a lot of people. So since World was trying to like troll, God Fear TV said, come outside. Why you don't never come outside? And then World got quiet. So World is only capable of trolling like a little kid in school. He's not capable of having any type of debate, dialogue, conversation, take responsibility, admit when he's wrong, make amends, none of that. So then I wrote 8 with the 24 also publicly challenged World to a fair fight. World is silence of the lambs. And there are older instances of World running away from fights with men. He literally bought a bus ticket and skipped town to avoid the fade. Okay, so I'm just showing you guys how many men have offered World a fair one-on-one, me and you. You don't hear World talking about none of this stuff the way he runs his mouth for 8 to 10 to 11 hours every day talking about women. This woman put this video out 3 years ago. Surviving World News, domestic violence awareness. So World knows how to beat up on women, but how many men here have challenged him? We got 3 here. That's one of the 3. That's number 4. 5. We got 5 men here. And then there's two more in my World News Exposed playlist. So at least in the past 5 years, at least 7 or 8 men on YouTube, also Grown Folks TV, also challenge World to a fight. So that's 8 men who challenge World. You don't hear World talking about none of these men. What do you hear World talking about? Women. This woman, LMSYT, was on World's panel. No, she was just in his chat. She was just in the live chat. And World stopped his show to curse her out and say that he saw her in other people's chats on YouTube. So what? How you going to curse somebody out just because they in other people's chats? Now, if somebody is like talking bad about me, I would address that. Like, don't come over here and say, hi, I love you, Leilani. And then I see you in somebody else's chat saying, I can't stand Leilani. That's different. If you're working against me and then you smiling in my face at the same time, I'm going to say something. But at the time that he went off at LMSYT, he just didn't like the people, the other YouTubers whose chats that she frequents. That's not his place to dictate where you can go and spend your time and attention. If I don't want somebody on my platform, I'll tell them don't come back here or don't comment in my platform, but I don't tell them don't go listen to nobody else. There's plenty of YouTubers I've exposed on my channel. I've never told people don't go over there and don't listen to them. I've told people, in fact, go listen to them. See if what I'm saying is true and see if you can see it for yourself. And when people come back to me and say, oh, now I see what you were saying about the other person, I say, good for you. If I was trying to shut people down, they would never come back and tell me, now I see what you're saying. It might take a week. It might take a month. It might take 3 months. People come back and be like, oh, now I see what you're saying. Because I don't tell you, oh, don't listen to them. I'm like, listen to whoever is telling the truth. And sometimes it's me. Sometimes other people tell the truth. So it is what it is. Sometimes people that I expose, they wind up doing videos that they tell the truth about certain things that I agree with them on. So everybody's not always wrong. Everybody's not always right. You win some, you lose some. All right, so World made this post. Kendra and Aaron, thanks for confirming everything. Sincerely, King World 2020. So somebody left a comment under his post. They said, well, somebody got to say it. I sincerely like your channel, World, but the way you are moving is extremely immature. Everyone knows you have been on Nature Boy's neck for years, but in this moment, we are giving the tea her flowers. If you show some humility, you might receive yours too. Can you blame ex-members for not wanting to deal with you? You turn on people quick when things don't go your way. You are extremely manipulative. You use your platform to turn people against ex-members when they don't interview with you. I'm going to tell you the truth because you are advised by a bunch of yes men. Okay? And 9 people have voted it. right? So these people from that left the carbonation cult, they interviewed with the T, and World was very upset about it. But why should he be upset about it when he's been making very negative, disparaging videos about them and all of the people who's been in carbonation? Even after they left, World News continues to make very hateful, defamatory content about them. And he wants them to tell more. He always says people don't tell enough when they go on other platforms. Oh, when they went on a real life production platform, he says they're lying. When they go on the T's platform, he says the T works for them. When they go on their own platform and make their own content, he still says they're not telling it all. Well, that's why I want Beamteam to tell it all about World. I want to know everything. What's going on with World? What did he do to y'all that made y'all leave? What's really going on behind the scenes with him? Tell it all. The same way he demands everybody else tell it all. Someone left this comment under one of my video exposing World. They said, yes, he gets extremely irate when others get interviews. Just like how he talks so much ish to and about Goomba and Nikki with his minions following suit. Then when AT2 got the interview with Sam Sr., he changed his tone, trying to play nice towards them. Nikki fell for it and came up on the panel. Now, because he said to play nice, all his minions, all of a sudden, were singing praises to Goomba and Nikki. I was like, damn, what a bunch of cowards with the phoniness. Isaac was the only one who gave a little pushback, but still was walking on eggshells. You're definitely not allowed to have an opinion or mind of your own over there. I've always felt like the Beamteam was like the unpopular kids growing up, and now they got to be a part of something grand because they are way too aggressive and too much dick riding and ass kissing. Okay? So World will sit there and drag and roast and disrespect anybody he wants, and the Beamteam will support him. And then when they agree to do an interview with him, then he tells them, oh, don't talk over them. Let them talk. Be nice to them when they come up on my channel. I'm going to drop you down. Wait a minute, World. You hyped up all of those people to go against them. Then when those people show up, you want to change the subject. You want to change your energy. He don't keep the same energy because it's all about him getting attention. He's going to get attention for putting people down, or he's going to get attention from interviewing them. If they bring big numbers, then he's going to tone it down so he can get attention from the numbers that they'll bring. It's all about him and his childish delusions. So I agreed with them. I said, yes, Bum News talked bad about Goomba, Nikki, Legina, and DJ Genesis. And then later on, he changed his tune when he wanted to use them for clicks and views after he led his Beamteam and the audience to hate on them and all the people associated with them. All right. So just because World News wants to change his mind and go back and forth on when he loves you and when he hates you, depending on what's convenient for him, right? He can do that. Right. But the problem is the Beamteam and the audience are also helping him to turn against people. And so the days and the months and the weeks that he spent talking bad about people, who knows how many hundreds or thousands of people heard those videos that didn't hear the video where he was nice to them. They might not watch those, but what they do know is that for a long time, World's been putting these people down. So he's inspiring and encouraging all of these people to put people down, but he'll flip and change his mind, whenever he wants to. Someone made a comment 3 years ago, but why is World News so mad? The people who donated to Fundi knew exactly what she was doing. I don't get it. And the person who channeled it was King St. Thomas said, exactly. Much love and respect always. So some years ago, Fundi Fee raised some money. Her audience donated it to her, and World had a fit. He started targeting her, harassing her, and she wound up trying to have a debate with him. She was trying to have a conversation with him. And she was like, I don't understand why you're mad at me. We don't have any history. I don't understand what the problem is. World was not able to identify a problem. So what it really came down to was he was jealous that her audience donated money to her. This was from a couple of months ago, maybe actually 2 or 3 months ago on Perry, what's his name? Perry Sanders' channel. Perry had World News up on his channel, on his panel several times. Okay. Perry was endorsing World News. And Perry helped World News with Perry's what's it called? With Perry's endorsement, World News channel grew up to 14,000 subscribers, and then it got deleted because World can't control his temper and his behavior. But Perry helped World build up his channel, and people wrote in the comments, Perry, Nikki was very respectful. She was asking for peace. King World was totally disrespectful. He's very disrespectful to women. I wish you would have muted him. He acts like he was mad. She called Perry's show and not his. And I don't blame her. I wouldn't go on his show either. Somebody wrote below that, King World won't let anyone speak but him. Gosh, I would like to hear the opinions of others on the panel. Somebody wrote below that, Perry, you should have a private conversation with King World about boundaries and expectations when he is on your show. He overtalks you, and his foul, aggressive language is too much. We come to your channel for humor, fun, and a relaxed atmosphere. He brings aggression, toxicity, and stress. So Perry's normal subscribers in his chat, they're like, where did you get this crazy guy World from? He's extremely rude and disrespectful to women, and why are you letting him do this? Okay, 61 upvotes, 36 upvotes, 51 upvotes. So that means that the majority of people who watched the show, that World was on the panel being disrespectful to women, all of these people are like disturbed by World's behavior because Perry does not act like that. Perry is a married man. I think Perry is retired, and he talked about he owns property. So Perry, and I think he has 2 adult children. So Perry is a successful black man. He's married. He's raised his children successfully. He looks healthy and comfortable, like he's doing well in his retirement age. All right. So Perry does not have this negative energy that World News has, because Perry is a grown man who raised his kids and takes care and pays his own bills and provides for his own wife. World is not doing any of that. But Perry was trying to help him out, and look how disgusted Perry's audience is when they seen how World News behaves in public on other people's platforms. Same behavior he does on his own platform. Why? Because World News has a beam team that will sit there and enable his behavior and don't tell him to stop acting like a freaking retard on the internet. Go get help. Go to therapy. Go to rehab. Take your psych meds and do group therapy as well. So you can understand that you're not the only person in the world who has trauma. You're not the only person in the world who's been abandoned. You're not the only person in the world who was born to a drug addicted parent. You're not. Okay, so stop putting your sickness out on other people, because other people have their own different types of trauma that they're dealing with. Almost everybody has trauma, but we don't all go around harassing and terrorizing other people. Somebody put a comment at the bottom under one of World News videos where they were verbally attacking Jaguar. It looks like Trejos, Kulu, and World were harassing Jaguar at this particular time. Somebody wrote a comment. They said, why did they antagonize her? That was not cool. Yes, she's disgusting, but the men stooping to insidious insults is ridiculous. This is not cool. So even though we know Jaguar is a difficult person, we also know that she has legitimate mental health diagnoses. So for 3 men to gang up on her and just insult her, of course, they talked about her personal appearance. Oh, you look like this, you look like that. You know, that's the problem with Beamteam. They work as a group to harass people, to put them down, to humiliate them and stuff like that. It's wrong. They gang up on one person, and the women do it too. You know, the men do it, the women do it too. World will be like, oh, I'm going to mute up and I'm going to let the women handle you. As soon as a woman comes on the panel, when the women talk to her, they all talk over her. They do the same thing World does. Ask her way too many questions. Don't let you answer one. You start talking for 10 seconds, they cut you off. They talk for 10 minutes, you talk for 10 seconds. And they all talking at you at the same time. Like, they have no self-awareness. No self-awareness. Shut up and let the person answer the question. They can't do that. They have the same short attention span like World News. DJ Genesis hopped on Sean Davy Way's panel but got roasted by King World's Beam Team. So after Beamteam roasted and dragged and insulted LMSYT, called her every fat joke under the sun, they then followed her when she got on somebody else's panel. And then they started to harass her and attack her in the comment sections on somebody else's panel. Why is Beamteam like so willing to go so far, to be so wrong, to do the wrong thing? All of these grown adults, older than me, some of them older than World, they're willing to be evil, mischievous, and devious with World. They're willing to follow people to different platforms and harass them. But now they're not willing to come out and roast King World the same way they did roast other people for King World. Why y'all not willing to roast King World? Someone in my comment section said, Brother Trejos Pete, my brother, you know I love you, right? Everyone knows I only had two brothers in the world sector, you and Brother Mac J. You both used to put world in check. So now that this new third wave of Beamteam has broken up, the only two people that seem to be left still supporting world, right now at this moment, are Trejos Pete and Mac J. Them two still in every comment section of everything World post, still will come up on his panel or whatever if he doing a show or whatever. So these two and the Kulu, they still sticking by World, even though World has proven that he's a terrible human being. They still sticking by him. So that person left a comment under my video I did a week ago, and she's trying to appeal to them. Like, Trejos and Mac J, y'all have checked World behind the scenes in the past. Why are y'all sticking beside him at this time, now that you see everybody else has left? Someone replied and said, right, it was a lot of women that supported these men. Men's number one was World, and all he done was shit on these women. I would tell them when they come in people's comment section how World was, but I was lame or jealous. World does not care about anybody but World, and Kulu is slow and sacrificed his own family for World. It's very sad when World goes down, Kulu's going down with World News. When it comes to Miss Meat, she's slow also. You can tell by the way she talks. I feel like he has something on these other people where they can't break away. Whatever it is, it's sad. You never give anyone that much power over you. I'm proud of the ones that left. Watch out for more to leave soon. Okay? So there's only like 3 people that I've noticed that's still left over there from the past. Trejos Pete, Mac J, and Kulu. I haven't seen Miss Meat over there in the past 2 weeks, but like I said, Miss Meat has been with World for years. Every time he loses a whole team, she'll go away for a few months and then she comes back. So I don't know what's going on. All I know is it seems to me to be sociopathic and or psychopathic behavior on World's part. It's repetitive, it's not getting better, it's only getting worse. Some experts see sociopaths as hot-headed. They act without thinking of how others will be affected. Psychopaths are more cold-hearted and calculating. They carefully plot their moves and use aggression in a planned-out way to get what they want. I feel like World does both of these things. He's a hot-headed sociopath. He flips out and curses people out. Sometimes I've seen people put a comment under a World video and they'll be like, haha, that was so funny. And I'll read their comment and my interpretation is they're saying that something World said was funny. World replies to them like, and who are you? You don't have to be here in my comments. He doesn't, it's like, I've seen people leave him positive feedback and he leaves them an angry, who are you? Get away from me type of reply. And I'm like, what is wrong with him? He's done that so many times. He doesn't even know when people are being nice to him. He's like really sick, you know? So he's definitely a hot-headed sociopathic type. It says psychopaths are cold-hearted and calculating and use aggression. He plots out his moves and uses aggression too, just against women. World has said on multiple occasions that he has files and folders. He says if you've ever reached out to him or communicated with him, he starts keeping a file and folder on you. Now, if he's been on YouTube for at least 5 years, he's had at least 10 channels, most of which have been deleted. How many files and folders does he have on how many people that just reached out to him on Instagram or Facebook or even YouTube. So he's just like tracking people for no reason. This is carefully plotted out aggression because he's going to wait until a later time when he's probably desperate for drug money and start contacting these people like, send me a donation. And if they don't, he's like, oh, I got all these pictures on your friends and your family and your children, all type of shit. Just unleash hell on people. Okay. So one of the people that he harassed and targeted for the longest time, who was completely innocent, harmless, never did anything to him, was DJ Genesis. This is a video from his channel in May. DJ Genesis, DJ Butt Naked, chases clout on Sean Davy Way show. Jaguar Wright is locked up and we know why. All right. So I just read to you guys a few minutes ago where LMSYT made a video saying that she went on Sean Davy Way show and World News Beamteam showed up in the chat and was harassing her. Here we have World News harassing DJ Genesis because she went on the Sean Davy Way show. What is their problem? What is their problem? They have a show. They have guests. They have panelists. Does anybody harass their panelists if they see their panelists in other people's live chats? If they see you don't see his panelists on other people's panels because he forbids it. The Beam Team have to live by strict rules put out by World News. World News don't have to live by no rules. But anybody that's under his control, they have to live by his strict rules, just like Nature Boy. He's calling DJ Genesis DJ Butt Naked. She's never done anything naked, so he's just slandering her and defaming her character at this point. She does business under the name DJ Genesis. He's accusing her of chasing clout on SDW show. So when World News was going on Perry's show, he was chasing clout. So why is he criticizing DJ Genesis for that? But he does it too. And then he's talking about Jaguar Wright is locked up and we know why. So there's just a whole lot of personal attacks on black women in this video. The video was 4 hours and 13 minutes long, attacking Jaguar Wright and DJ Genesis. Two women who've done nothing to him and two women who are harmless and defenseless against him. And then look at his video. He posted private communications between him and Genesis, and he exposed them. And people in his comment section is saying, this person calls herself Queen Common Sense. She's obviously not that. She's neither of those things. And she says, and this is why I chew DJ Butt Naked out the frame. Why? Genesis did nothing to you. You're just not smart. You have no common sense. And that's why you would follow whatever World tells you to do and disrespect DJ Genesis. You're completely wrong. Somebody else wrote at the bottom, shaking my head, and this is one of his moderators, Asaki Tress 41, shaking my head, stupid, sneaky bitch. So World has all of these is women. All of these are women. They look like black women from the whatever it's called, the avatar pictures. So World has a bunch of women in his chat verbally harassing and verbally disrespecting and verbally beating up on DJ Genesis, who's done nothing to World. Genesis went on quite a few panels to talk about all of the lies that World News put out about her. A lot of things he said about her were just simply not true because he was calling her every day on Instagram and demanding that she come on his panel and explain herself. And every time she went on his panel to explain herself, he talked over her. His whole Beam team talked over her. They did not accept any of her answers. She gave answers, but it wasn't what he wanted to hear. So he just kept antagonizing her. So it's like, you cannot win with him. If you do what he says, he's still going to verbally abuse you. If you don't do what he says, he's going to harass you, stalk you, and verbally abuse you. Genesis went on someone else's panel and said, World told her that he knew she was having work done on her home, that he knew that there was men working in her backyard. And she said it was true. that she did have repairmen at her house in her backyard doing work around her house. And I'm thinking, why would World News go so far as to tell Genesis that he knows that she has repairmen in her backyard? That means that he's stalking her. They live in two different states, but this is how criminally insane World is, that he's able to manipulate other people into being criminally insane on his behalf. So somebody literally went to DJ Genesis' real house in real life and looked at her backyard to know that she had people working back there. That's very intimidating. Okay? Genesis has children. Genesis has other people who she's letting live with her. They have children. Do you really want somebody criminally insane like World News and people who are easily manipulated by him to be in your backyard, peeking into your house? That's crazy. And the thing is, in the state that Genesis lives, if she would have seen them in her backyard and she would have shot them, she would have been well within the gun rights of her state. So people are willing to risk their lives to go be criminals on behalf of this criminally insane crack baby World News. It says here, DJ Genesis exposed again by King World for panel hopping. 11 hours and 55 minutes. This man spent 12 hours. And look at him. He keeps putting these pictures of himself looking like a homeless crack baby. 11 hours, 55 minutes on DJ Genesis. 7,000 views. Who are these retarded people who think it's okay for World to talk about DJ Genesis, who's done nothing to him, and he could sit online and talk about her for 12 hours, defame her character, drag her, make up all type of insults? After how many times did DJ Genesis went on his panel and tried to talk kindly to him and respectfully, and she sat there and let him verbally abuse her? Right? Then he's talking about Malia and Neytiri for 4 hours. These girls are no longer, well, one is, and one is out of carbonation. He's talking about bum non-content creators. Who can he call a bum when he's got kids that he's not taking care of because he spends 16 hours a day on the internet? Who's a bum? Are you serious? Who is a bum, World? Your head is so little, it can't even fit that crown. Your veins all popped out of your arms. Who's a bum? Kululivestreaming told me about the Jaguar Right DJ Genesis, whatever. Jaguar Right sister Shelly. Who is she? And is she a part of this? What business is it of yours if Jaguar Right sister is a part of something or not? It's none of your business. They will find anybody's friends and family, job, everything, harass, stalk, and try to destroy people's whole lives just because they made up a faulty opinion. So in this video he did for 12 hours talking about DJ Genesis exposed again by King World for panel hopping and clout chasing. You see he had Raz King and Trejo's Pete up there. These are grown men. Okay, they will sit up there with him for 12 hours to talk about women. You see he got pictures of Jaguar and Velvet. Why do these men feel comfortable sitting around talking about women? And I bet you these are the same men who will say, and matter of fact, this one did. He came in my chat for 2 hours and harassed me last week. Raz King. And he kept saying, you talk too much. You talk too much. Drop the link. Drop the link. Yeah, but you sat on World News panel for 12 hours at a time talking too much about women. You know, makes no sense at all. Then Kulu goes over to his channel. After he's already sat on World News channel for 50 million years, he goes on his channel and regurgitate the same garbage. Someone put a comment. You see that's Trejo's Pete there. Supporting the nonsense, totally not being productive as men. Someone said, beam him up, Scotty. Yeah, OG biblical text is the queen of enabling and smoke and mirrors. King World called it. She's trying to hide her hands and make it seem clean or at least plausibly deniable. Don't play with it, shorty. So that's somebody else in World News comment section helping all of these grown men to attack DJ Genesis and defame her character. More videos by King World. He did another video talking crap about Jaguar and DJ Genesis. 5 hours, 47 minutes. All right? This is a lot of time to spend on stuff that is not serious and doesn't matter. Then, when he finally got DJ Genesis to come on his panel and talk to him for the 50 millionth time, somebody put a comment, "Aw, man, hearing Genesis cry broke my heart. You can tell Jag really hurt her feelings." That's rotten of Jag. This been a good friend to you for over 20 years. Jag, you is gone. This is just some spiteful, mean-spirited, and wrong. Jag owes Genesis an apology, regardless of if they're going to be friends moving forward or not. You owe her an apology, Jag. I got you, King World. I hit the like button. Thank you for the thorough commentary. Someone else said, Genesis has unfortunately been used by these people. Thank you, King World, for allowing her to speak. Someone else said, I feel bad for this lady. She is hurt. All she's trying to do is help. So one time when Genesis went on King World panel, King World must have told him to be nice to her. And now look, everybody being nice to her. But look at all these videos, 12 hours, 6 hours, all these comments from his panelists and his guests, insulting DJ Genesis, calling her a stupid, sneaky bitch, right? So it's just crazy, all right? But the things that they're doing, like for World to tell Genesis he knows she has workers in her backyard, that's called invasion of privacy. Going on people's other social media platforms and digging up pictures of their friends and family and their children, that's invasion of privacy. It says, what is the meaning of invasion of privacy? The intrusion into the personal life of another without just cause. World News and his Beamteam does not have just cause to intrude on other people's privacy the way that they do. Godfear TV did a video. Victim comes on panel. World in kudos clowns child in lupus. So a victim came up on Godfear TV's panel to talk about how much World News intruded and invaded their privacy, hacked into their computer, looked up all their personal information, spread their personal business. Right? This guy, Icy Smokes, came up on the panel. He said, Kulu's wife reached out to me. She wants out bad. All right? So I don't know what's going on with the Kulu's wife. She wants out. She needs to blink twice if she needs help. We need to investigate Kulu's wife, and we need to investigate the woman that World News lives with, and we need to investigate the woman that Raz News lives with, because they all have women in the home. And this is how they act on the internet. They might be really abusing the women that live in the house with them, because they obviously would not date a strong woman. They obviously have to date somebody that has a very low IQ and a very high tolerance for nonsense and bullshit. Most women are not going to go for this level of bum nigger shit that these guys do all day on the internet. So the type of women they're dealing with are probably, living in fear. When Icy Smokes came up on Godfear TV panel, he said he was forced to change the school that his son was in, his child was in, because the World News Beamteam has stalked and harassed him to the point where he posted a picture of his kid on social media, and World was able to see, like little kids, when they go on trips, the school gives them a t-shirt that has the school name and phone number on it. So that way, like if a child goes missing or gets lost, if an adult finds the child, they will be able to call the school and return the child. So it's a safety measure. So because Icy Smokes posts this picture of his son on his social media, like Facebook or what have you, World took the picture and called up the child's school and was threatening Icy Smokes that he's gonna like do something to his child. So Icy had to move the kid to another school just to prevent all of this stuff from happening. That's extremely sick. That's illegal. That is harassing. That is stalking. That is invasion of privacy. Here's the Kulu. Neytiri is angry with us because we canceled their relationship. 7 hours. The Kulu talked about canceling a relationship. 6,500 views. Again, why are people supporting this shit? Okay, the kulu, it is being said that your wife is reaching out to other men and she wants out bad. So why is the kulu worried about Neytiri and Solar's relationship? The kulu, you need to worry about your own relationship. You need to bring your wife on and you need to let her answer direct questions from the audience. Is she being abused, harassed, bullied by you? Are you providing for her as a real man should? We should be able to ask as much questions about your personal life as you ask Sweet Ma about her sex life. We should be able, in fact, if anybody has the video that Dekulu did and World News did with Sweet Ma, we should be able to ask Dekulu's wife how Dekulu's performance is in bed. The same exact questions. How big is it? Is it good? Do you like it? Everything that you ask other people, we should be able to ask you and your family members, because the kulu likes to interview people's family members. So I don't understand why they feel like they could pry so deep and so far into so many other people's lives. Then they call themselves harassing God-fear TV. Right? So here's the kulu on his Kulu live discussion channel. A person wrote a comment. They said that's big time cap. Jag is on lockdown and has been on lockdown for a while now. She can't use the phone or order commissary. She also got to go to a disciplinary hearing this week. She's showing out big time in there. Dekulu says, I got video, audio from mods explaining her and her mods' involvement. So basically in this video where he was harassing God-fear TV, Dekulu was basically saying that Jag's shadow team was responsible for taking down World News's biggest channel that he recently lost. And so somebody wrote in the comments, that's cap. Jag is on lockdown. She cannot tell her, Jag can't communicate to tell her mods to take down you guys' channel, right? So Dekulu says he's got video and audio from Jag's mods explaining Jag and her mods' involvement. This was just a couple of months ago. Now who's Jaguar Wright's shadow team? World News and Dekulu. So at first they was accusing Jag of taking down their channel when Jag was in jail and had no phone privileges. But now they working with Jag. They trying to promote her. Okay? World wants to be a part of the circus. World wants to be a part of, if Nature Boy gets a Netflix documentary, the reason why World keeps making all of this content is because in his imagination, one day he's going to get discovered. But all people are going to discover is that he's a criminally insane stalker, harasser, and doxxer. But I'm glad that somebody called out that Dekulu was lying on Jaguar. She has no privileges, so she can't communicate with people. But what did Dekulu say? He's got video and audio from her mods. How did Dekulu get video and audio on Jaguar Wright's mods? Those people they're not celebrities. They're not rich. They're not famous. They are some random regular people who just come to YouTube for entertainment. So why does Dekulu have secret audio and video recordings on them? That's called gang stalking. And I did a video about this about a year ago on my channel. How gang stalkers get all of your personal information. Okay? Gang stalkers are groups of people like Kulu Live who get audio and video when you're just minding your business, having a regular meeting with your friends on social media. He's the type of person that's going to record your shit and use it against you at a later date. That's a form of gang stalking. The activity of the Beamteam is a form of gang stalking. This is World News in an old video that I put in my World News Exposed playlist. World News is saying, okay, check it, right? It's really not that hard, you know, to hack a Facebook page. Okay, so World News out his own mouth made a video that he posted on YouTube, which is still on YouTube, which is on 8 with the 24th channel on his archives. And it's in the playlist that I made exposing World News as well. He made this video several years ago. So now, just a couple of days ago, on his channel King World, he says, still waiting on the video proof that I am a hacker. Until that information is produced, I guess I'm not the hacker then, right? I'm just saying, we the people of YouTube are waiting on the bulletproof receipts. that's supposed to crucify me like Jesus. But wait, I can just hack your PC for the information, right? Well, which one do you believe? Did Nature Boy ever say I was a hacker? Did young Pharaoh say I hacked his millionaire dollar library? Nature Boy did say that World News does illegal activity in order to create YouTube content. And young Pharaoh put out death threats against World News. So why is World News using those people as a reference point is beyond me. But at the top, he says, still waiting on that video proof that I am a hacker. Well, the video is in my World News Exposed playlist. It's at close to the top of the list. He clearly says what I'm saying, that it's not really hard to hack a Facebook page. So the proof is there. I don't understand these people like World News. They do all of this terrible stuff, just like Jaguar Wright. And then they act like the rest of us don't remember or don't know or don't have the proof, or as the proof is still not there on video. Okay, I also posted this to my community wall. I reposted from 8 with the 24 just a couple of days ago. World News, it says, Kanika Jenkins, community con artist, that's World News, admits to being a hacker. Okay, so here's World News. He says, and again, this is a 50-second video that you can go and find on my community wall post. World News says, I think a lot of y'all are uncomfortable with having a conversation with me because y'all think I'm going to attack you. Y'all think I'm going to hack your account. And number 3, you think that I'm going to scramble your something. But just know this right here. I'm not going to put a Trojan on your phone. I'm not going to take over your account. I'm not going to pick all up in your phone. I'm not going to be looking through your front facing camera and all of that. I'm not going to do that. I can do that. Okay. Again, the title of this video, it's on my community wall. And I will also add it to my World News Exposed playlist, but I got it from 8 with the 24. So it's also on 8 with the 24's channel. Kanika Jenkins, community con artist, admits to being a hacker. This is World News. So why just a few days ago is World News talking about, I'm still waiting on a video proof that I'm a hacker? The video proof is 2 different videos of World News himself showing his face saying that he's a hacker. This guy is insane. Someone left a comment under my video, World News Exposed. He works with the police. He even says it. It's been 8 hours. My shift is over. He writes out a timesheet tracking people and submits the paperwork. He gets paid to follow people. He keeps other people's name in his mouth all day. Not normal. So I replied, wow, there are documentaries on YouTube about how the worst criminals are selected to become snitches. And the people he fixates on, like Pharaoh, Carbonation, and Jaguar, all have done rituals to get into the devil's network. So it may just be a case of they can never get out and will always be tracked. Someone else said, under my World News Exposed video, I'm sorry about that noise, guys. There's been construction in my area all day, and it's like, hello, when does it end? I don't know if that's a truck or a bus, but there's been a lot of noise. Anyway, they said it almost sounds like Jaguar Wright. I can't understand how she got away with what she did at the airport, police stations, mayor's office, not unless she's a snitch for the FBI. So I said to them, no one has posted Jag's mugshot from any of her arrests. That is very suspicious. So after like a few days went by, like 6 days went by, I also replied to the person saying, after I wrote that Jag has no mugshot, Beamteam member Koala, the Kulu, posted what he said was an old mugshot of Jag. And he said only the Beamteam has it and knows where or how to get Jag's mugshot. They are all running the welcome to the circus psyop, deceiving the masses for cash apps. So basically, I was telling y'all in my last video that Zakulu has been copying me. I made a video about Brother Polite And then the very next day, Kulu made a video about Brother Polite. He used my talking points, the same type of videos that I referenced to find the information. I told you guys how like a year ago, I went and let Kulu know that I knew he was stealing my content because he repeated something I had talked about the 100th monkey theory. And he went and repeated it on his channel, but he repeated it wrongfully. So I went over to correct him. So even when I did my World News Exposed video, when I said no one posted a Jag mugshot, Kulu made a video saying, oh, we have it. But he was lying, right? Now, I made a video like a couple of weeks ago saying how hip hop went from positive to negative. Do you know in that video I said in the beginning and at the end that not Jaguar. I actually did mention Jaguar a little bit in that video. But I had said that we need to, as a black community, come up with a new type of music. Like, should we just abandon hip hop and just make up a whole new genre? Or should we fight to take hip hop back over and take it back to positive the way it was when it started out? Do you know that after me, Kulu went and made a video saying that Jaguar made a song recently and it's a new genre of music? I said, you know what? Out of all of the ideas that Kulu has taken from watching my content, I believe he also got that from me as well. I literally just said a couple of weeks ago, we need to come up with a new genre of music. And here he goes saying Jaguar just came up with a new genre of music. It is so corny. Like, these guys have no personality. They don't have any of their own information or their own style. Everything they get, they have to take it away from a black woman. So here is, actually, this is the mugshot that Kulu posted after I said that they didn't have a mugshot. This is the one that Kulu posted. So here's Kulu saying, guys, this photo was taken from her earlier arrest. This isn't her most recent arrest. If you go look at any of these so-called people that are arrested in Bossier County at any of their so-called booking websites, you're not going to see a website for any other something. And I'm saying this because there's a lot of people that follow King World and myself that are professionals in certain industries, and we don't usually post what we do online because we have a lot of haters and they'll try to get us fired. They're trying to call our sergeants and officers and, higher ups like that, and they'll try to get us fired. But oh yeah, this place, now look at this, guys. Kulu said, we have a lot of haters, talking about himself and King World. And they'll try to get us fired. They're trying to call our sergeants and officers and, higher ups and like that. And they'll try to get us fired. So here is Kulu saying that they have sergeants and officers that they work for that people are trying to call and get them fired. So this is what I was trying to tell you guys in my last video. Kulu made several comments during the course of this video saying that Beamteam has people in it at different levels of law enforcement and military. And that's how they got inside information on Jaguar Wright's arrest that nobody else could get. Do you guys believe that Kulu really works for military? Because he don't look like it. He don't dress like it. Like, people who work for the police and stuff, they make a decent salary. Like, Kulu looks very poor, and so does World. So I don't know, but look at what Kulu said. He said that they have a lot of haters that will try to get us fired. They're trying to call our sergeants and officers and higher ups. Who is Kulu sergeants and officers and higher ups? I got this from Ann 411's channel. She has made videos also exposing world news. And 411's videos exposing world news are also in my King World Exposed playlist. Who else did I mention? I mentioned Godfear TV's channel as well. His videos are also in my World News Exposed playlist. So in this particular video, Gemini was saying, I'm not Gemini, I'm reading the screen at the top. So it was him and Gemini Goddess setting this all up. So Aunt Leslie most definitely needs to be looked into regarding this. So I think Kulu was the one who was talking. And Kulu was saying, I was the first one to talk about it. I was the first. No, y'all weren't. World was already live 4 hours prior to her even being arrested. 4 hours and 30 minutes, King World was already live. At the moment in which you got arrested, there was no other YouTuber live. So I'm telling you, he knew what was going on. He knew what was going down. I knew that the bounty hunters were on their ass. Y'all see how World took everybody off the panel? Because it's happening live. And World kept dropping down, talking about he's doing something behind closed doors. Him and Gemini Goddess kept getting, So anyway, Kulu was running his mouth talking about how World News and Gemini Goddess and him, Kulu, they all knew about Jag's arrest, and that's why World was already live for like 4 hours before it happened, and all of this stuff. So it's very questionable how these people get their information. This is so weird that all of this noise is happening while I'm live. Guys, I'm so sorry about this. So it says King Crackhead and Cujo proved they reported Jaguar Wright's U-Haul stolen and reveal other secrets. So Jaguar went on to say that she had a moving truck with all of her possessions from the eviction the day before she got arrested. But it was said that Jaguar lost the truck because she got arrested the next day. So how did King World and Kulu know what type of truck she had? Because Genesis wasn't there. Legina wasn't there. I don't see who could have told World News or Kulu what type of truck that Jaguar had, because it was assumed that it was a U-Haul, but later on, Jag went on to say it was a Penske truck. So how did World and Kulu know that she, what type of truck she had? And furthermore, how would they know where the truck was located in order to report Jaguar Wright's U-Haul stolen? And if they were able to report it stolen, whether it was a U-Haul or a Penske, I don't know how they know what she had, where it was located and all of that, but that means that she lost all of her personal property, all her private possessions in the world was in that truck. So I don't understand how right now World News and Kulu is trying to be so buddy, so nice with Jaguar. After they said that nobody should talk about Jaguar and they wasn't going to talk about her no more, World was like, I don't have to talk about Jaguar to get clicks and views. I'm not going to talk about her at all. So both World and Kulu have repeatedly said they was going to stop talking about her, right? But how does Jaguar Wright forgive that they put her in jail? They had her U-Haul towed, that they stalked and harassed her for several weeks, days, and months before that point. They followed her, taking her mother to church. They exposed the church. They exposed when she got a new car. I mean, it's way too much that they've done to her. So I don't understand how they all working together now. So now World has a new target, Danny Robertson, a YouTuber. This is Danny Robertson's channel. All right. So here's King World talking about Danny Robertson exposed. Come on up. Danny has done nothing to World. Danny has not done anything to Kulu. They just decided in their little rabbit brain minds that they're going to start harassing Danny Robertson for no reason. Now, I have a conspiracy theory about Danny Robertson. In my opinion, I think Danny Robertson is a 16-year-old computer whiz. I think she's a kid and she's running circles around all of these grown-ass people on YouTube that harass her. She's kind of like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. She's just running circles around them, getting them all trapped up in their own bullshit. But literally, she sounds like a very young black woman. She's very smart. She's minding her business, and she's doing her commentary. So why does World News all of a sudden make her a target? He's talking about Danny Robertson exposed. Come on up. For what? She doesn't know you. So Danny Robertson has a couple of backup channels. This is one of them. Danny says, "What's up, King World 2023 and Kulu live streaming 369? What happened to your expose and allegations? Don't get quiet now. I said what I said. Fuck your ultimatums." So that's what World and Kulu does. They tell people, come over here and explain yourself right now. And then they make content about those people every single day. they start stalking all of those people's social medias, trying to find out who their friends and family are. They use it to make content, and right now they're doing it to Danny. So she said, fuck your ultimatums. I don't have to come over there and talk to neither one of y'all. Okay? Below that, Danny wrote on her backup channel the day before that, the 3 people responsible for the harassment of another innocent black woman who is a school teacher are King World, Soldier Boy, and Teddy Bundy. All 3 are Scooby-Doo investigators. I'll be discussing this soon. So King World is KW, Soldier Boy is the Kulu Live, and Teddy Bundy is someone else who's been harassing Danny for a long time for no reason. Okay? And I wouldn't even call them Scooby-Doo investigators. You know, when Danny calls people Scooby-Doo, that means that they're bad investigators, you know? And she's right about the people she's talking about, because they keep doxing random black women on social media and saying that it's Danny and it's not her. But I beg to differ. The Scooby-Doo team, they used to solve all of their mysteries. So Scooby-Doo was a way better investigator than the people that Danny calls Scooby-Doo. There's only one person that I agreed with Danny calling Scooby-Doo. And that's because that person looks and sounds like Scooby-Doo. And I told y'all that person looks and sounds like Scooby-Doo. And Danny wound up getting a clip of that person exposed. And they sure enough look just like Scooby-Doo. I told y'all. Anyway, so here's Danny's backup channel for the basics. Danny posted, information was sent on Davon J. Allison, that will be Kulu Live, as well as Marquisio Antron Watson, World News. Also, remember that I'm on my own schedule and not theirs. They don't run me, just know that they're on the docket. So Danny reported them to the police because they've been doxing this young black woman. Kulu said that they've been following this young black woman for 3 months. They know that she has a small child, a son, who lives with her. And they know that she's a school teacher. And they've been knowing for 3 months all of this information on this girl who they think is Danny Robertson. And they're saying that they're going to visit her child, her school, her place of employment, and do something to her because they think it's Danny Robertson. Danny says it's not her. And she can't sit there and let these big, overgrown, broke, bummy men who have children harass, stalk, and dox this young lady for 3 months. And it's not even Danny because they think it's Danny Robertson. How do these men feel about themselves? That they feel comfortable, that they think that this is the person that they're targeting. And they're comfortable with targeting this person for 3 months. And they're comfortable with going up to her job. And they're comfortable knowing that she has a small child. How do they feel good about themselves as grown big men harassing this little lady? A school teacher. They said she's a school teacher. She's making more of a contribution to society than they are. She's a more upstanding, positive, productive, legitimate, legal, law-abiding citizen than they are. So why have they set their sights on harassing her? If that's who you think she is, why are you making 2-hour videos demanding that she come up and talk to you, world? You're twice her age. Why does she need to talk to you? You goat-faced devil. So under my video exposing world news from 3 months ago, here goes Destined Era Int LLC. He came in my comment section. He says to me, bitch, you gonna get your ass whooped. Y'all niggas play like y'all for God, but literally follow the paths of Satan. Boy, wait till you get your ass caught. So this is Razkyng, RAZKYNG, his YouTube channel, Destined Era Int LLC. Because I made a video exposing world news, Razkyng comes in under his YouTube channel and says, I'm gonna get my ass whooped, and calling me a bitch. He says, I'm following the path of Satan and wait till my ass gets caught. How is it that this man, this grown-ass man, Razkyng, who has children and a girlfriend, okay, sits up on world news panel for mad hours every day, bashing other black women for no good reason, but he's gonna stalk me, harass me, and whip my ass on behalf of his boyfriend, World News, because I made a World News Exposed video? How does Raz King ignore all of this criminal bad behavior that World News is doing to black women every day? Why? Because Raz King have the same exact personality type as World. For him to approach me like this, bitch, you gonna get your ass whooped. He couldn't say, Leilani, I think you made some mistakes. I think you're wrong. Let's debate. He didn't debunk me. He didn't say I was lying. He just want me to shut up and not talk. No, this is America. It's a free country. If you sent these men, this Raz King, World News, and Kulu, to foreign countries, if you sent them to like the Middle East, they would not survive because they're not men who provide for their families. If you send them to a country where men get to control women to the extent that they want to control women, make you sit down and shut up and close your mouth and don't say nothing to them or about them, go to the Middle East where men can do that to women. And guess what? Those men have to go to work and they have to provide. They have to pay for that woman's full housing, all of her food, all of her clothes, all of her shelter. They have to pay for everything for all of their children. So if they would live in countries where they could control women to the extent that they wanted to, they would not be able to sit on the internet cursing other black women out all day. They want to be bums and they also want to be in control. It don't work like that. So I go to Kulu live streaming channel after Raz King came on my channel and threatened that he's going to get my ass whooped. I said to the Kulu, Raz King threatened me with physical harm. So I reported Beamteam to several levels of law enforcement. Okay. You see below that, someone said, Jaguar has been evicted. Her things are on the curb, just to give you guys a timeline of when this happened. And then look what it says below that. In my opinion, Z Giselle was too aggressive. Matching her energy is not the way to go about it. You're a mental health counselor and can't handle people like that. So I didn't even mean to read all of this stuff, but it just gives you more perspective. So now Giselle allegedly has filed a police report against World News for doxing her. But back when Giselle was on the Beamteam with Raz King, when Raz King was threatening to whip my ass, Giselle was being verbally aggressive and disrespectful towards other people on behalf of the Kulu and World News. So she was down with the Beamteam when it came to harassing and threatening other people and making them have to call the police on him. Now she's calling the police on him. I also left the same message on the World News video. I said, Raz King threatened me with physical harm, so I reported the Beamteam to several levels of law enforcement. So neither Kulu nor World News replied to my comments, I guess because they feel like people on Beamteam are already in law enforcement. Okay. I guess they didn't reply because they feel like that's appropriate behavior for Raz King to come over and say, I'm gonna get my ass whooped for doing the same type of video on them that they do on other people every day, all day. They're okay with that. That's acceptable. Because if it wasn't, they would have made a video and said, we do not condone violence against women. We all have freedom of speech. We all have a right to make our commentary. If what we're doing doesn't fit YouTube guidelines, then the video will get reported to YouTube and YouTube will take that person's video down. That's the proper way to handle if you don't like what somebody's doing on social media. But to try to break the law and threaten me with physical violence, and I'm letting y'all know this is what your Beamteam member Raz King is doing, and they didn't care. They didn't say anything. They didn't address it or anything, right? And they're doing all of this for this guy, this little skinny crackhead. His head is looking like smaller and smaller every day. He looks so skinny, like he could hula hoop with a Cheerio. He's got on a cheap t-shirt, cartoon t-shirt. That is from a movie, Back to the Future, is from the 80s. The world is living in the past. He doesn't want to grow up and be an adult with man's responsibilities. Get a job, pay child support, save money for his future. I did a video, God-Fear TV left me a comment. Here comes Raz King trolling, but ain't y'all doing the same thing? Stalking? Show me your LLC for your channel. Okay. What does a LLC for a channel have anything to do with stalking? I replied to him, if it's the same thing as you said, stalking, then why is it wrong when someone else does to y'all what y'all do to others? You are a fake ass Rasta believing in Freemason Haile Selassie and working for that goat faced devil bum news. Okay? This guy was harassing me for 2 hours straight in my video last week. He's doing all of this hard work for world news. Why? What's wrong with him? Under the T's channel, the T had made a post that the women who are still hanging on to Nature Boy's cult, they are the ones who tried to fly a drone with illegal contraband over to Nature Boy in jail, and they got caught. And there was some information that came out that the prison staff had been monitoring Nature Boy's phone calls, and they know that the women were involved in plotting to get Nature Boy the contraband. So anyway, people were writing under the T's post. They were like, oh yeah, I understand. Well, were the 3 women arrested? Because if the prison officials know that they were trying to help him, then they should be in trouble too. Here goes Raz King. All y'all lames. So here he is on the T's channel. The T has an order of protection against World for stalking, doxxing, and harassing her. World News and the Beamteam called the T's job and tried to get her fired from her professional job, which has nothing to do with YouTube. They interviewed one of the T's ex-partners and had that partner tell all type of bad information on the T, right? And as if that wasn't bad enough, Raz King, Destined Era Int, has to now go over to the T's channel and say all y'all lames because they're having a conversation about what's going on with Nature Boy. Meanwhile, who spends all day every day talking about Nature Boy? World News and the Beamteam. So if it's lame when the T does it on her channel, it's even more lame because y'all do it every day on World's channel. The mental illness of these people who stick behind World News is really astounding. They don't even realize that they incriminate themselves with their own words. So here goes a video of World News exposing carbonation people. He can do it on his channel, but the T can't do it on her channel. So when World News is digging all up in carbonation people's business on his channel, here goes that same clown, Destined Era in LLC, Raz King. Shout out to my brother King World, always coming with the fire receipts on deck. Always Beamteam up, cult and scammers down. Tell him Raz King said that. Here's King World, scammers down. So when they talk about Nature Boy's cult on World's channel, oh, it's good. Shout out to World. But if that same person, when other people talk about Nature Boy, he goes and says, all y'all lames. Like, how does this guy not know that he's a retard? How does he not know that he makes no sense at all? And he's doing all of the things that he goes around hating on other people for doing. So that means that he must hate himself, right? This is a video I did of him actually harassing me on my channel. He was in the chat when I was talking for like 2 hours. And I had made this video to kind of scroll and show you guys how he was harassing me, but it doesn't look like I'm able to play it. Probably YouTube might have a thing where you can't like do that when you're live. Okay, it is playing. Okay. So basically, I'm just showing how this guy was trolling me from the 3 hour and 48 minute mark all the way to the end of my video when it ended at 5 hours and 37 minutes. So for 2 hours, Raz King, Destined Era Entertainment was trolling me in my comment section. But when I was asking him questions, I was like, okay, Raz, you're here. Answer some questions. Tell me why you threatened me with physical violence. Tell me why you followed Velvet and Solar and you recorded all of their conversations and you took video footage of them without their knowledge or permission and you gave it to World News, right? And I'm showing you guys time has passed and he's still trolling me in my comment section. But if you notice, he's not answering my questions. He's not apologizing for threatening me with physical violence. He's not explaining to us why he works so hard for World News and stalking and recording people illegally. He's not answering any questions. He's just like telling me I need to I need to stop talking. I'm talking too much. I need to drop the link and he will explain himself. And I'm telling him I'm not going to drop the link for you because you're not apologizing. You're not explaining. You're not giving us an indication of where your head is at right now. What you're doing is trolling. So I don't trust you. So I would never drop a link for someone who's trolling me. Now, if he would have came in and been like, I apologize, I'm not with Beamteam no more, because when I checked, it doesn't look like Raz King is even with Beamteam anymore. It looks like he hasn't been on World's panel in 2 weeks either. So if he's not on Beamteam no more, why was he harassing me last week after he already left Beamteam? It doesn't make any sense. If you're over that and you're not with them anymore, why are you still obsessed with me and what I got going on and what I'm doing? That's what I want to know. So 8 with the 24 shared the video I did last week exposing all of this stuff. And so I reposted the video I showed you guys earlier in this video on my community wall, admitting to hacking, Queen World. I said, thank you, 8 with the 24, for sharing my Beamteam broke up live from Friday night. We were trolling the trolls, and even though they had to laugh with us for roasting them, it was fun. But Raz King's scary behind never hit me up about my battle rap challenge. However, it seems that he's not fucking with World anymore. So, you know, I don't know what to think. If Raz King is not with Beamteam no more, why is he still stalking me? When he was harassing me last week, I said to him, Raz, we can do a debate. We can have a conversation. We could do a rap battle. I will battle rap you. I'm like, what do you want? Whatever problem you want with me, fight me on a level that I can fight you on. But he didn't even want to agree to none of that. I went to Raz King's channel after that, the Destined Era, and I left him a comment. I said, yo, what happened? Like, when do you want to do this? He deleted my comment. He didn't even reply. Somebody else came in my live show last week, just like being disruptive, changing the subject, talking about something else. I think her name is Roxy, you know. She was also being disruptive. After my live ended, I went to her channel. I left her a comment. I said, Roxy, let's just stay on good terms. I'm not fighting you. She also deleted my comment. So why did these two people feel comfortable to come into my live show and be disruptive and create arguments with me out of thin air? And then when I go to their comment section and say, let's like put this to rest, or let's find a resolution, and they just delete my comment. But it's okay for them to come in my comment section and be disruptive, right? And they was doing this in this video. This is the video I'm referring to that I was just showing you guys, that little video of Raz King harassing me. YouTube police, Kulu live, and World News exposed. Beamteam broke up. 5 hours, 37 minutes. That's the video in which Roxy and Raz were being disruptive. But then when I go to their channel and leave a comment, they want to delete it. So don't bring your stupid ass over here to my comment section being disruptive and trying to stop me from what I'm doing. Every time I get to exposing World News, random people come out and they try to distract me and try to stop me. Even like I said, a couple of people on Beamteam is messaging me talking about keep my name out your mouth. Why? If you don't mess with World no more, why aren't you exposing it? Why do y'all try to scare me to be quiet? And how stupid are all of these people to not realize my whole channel is about exposing? The more you tell me to be quiet, the louder I'm going to get. That's when you're going to get me screaming and yelling and cursing you out. Like, I don't know why people think that. I don't know. I don't know what people think. I don't know what people think, but I'm not the one. I'm not the two. I'm not the three. I'm none of that. Okay. I work for God. I don't work for the devil. So I need all of these demonic spirits to stop thinking that they're going to shut me up and shut me down. It's not going to happen. And I'm not trying to be rude and disrespectful, but Roxy went on her channel and tried to make a video trying to beef with me. And that's when I put the comment under it. I said, listen, I don't want to fight with you. Let's just stay on good terms. And she deleted my comment. Guess what? A couple of days later, she's in the hospital. She has some life-threatening sickness. Okay? I didn't do nothing to her, but you need to, you need to stay in your lane. If you're not healthy and you're not well, you don't need to be causing problems on YouTube and then go on making videos about me looking for clicks and views. You need to take care of yourself. Okay? It says at the bottom here, I found some tea, wine, and soda on World News, the online cult leader. All right. So other people are making videos exposing World News, being a cult leader, harassing people. Well, what does World News do? He goes around and makes videos accusing other people of being cult leaders. Velvet and Solar. This is all King World. Velvet and Solar exposed by the Great Rude Boy, parts 1 and 2. That was 4 hours and 6 hours. This was when Raz King spent 10 hours on World News platform explaining how he followed Velvet and Solar home from the WIC office, welfare office. He befriended them and he recorded them illegally and secretly, audio and video. And he gave it to World and they played it on World's channel for 10 hours. Okay. Here goes World News talking about Nature Boy, his hearing, his cult. Here's World News talking about the breakup of Haydu and Musa. Musa was an ex-carbonation cult member. What does these people's personal relationships and breakups have anything to do with World News and his panel in the Beam Team? At the bottom, it says the new one-time R&B neo soul singer Booty Oil edition. He's talking about Jaguar Wright. This is a complete total lie that he made up on Jaguar. There is a person who drives around in her car and she sings, I have body oil, body oil. World News said it was Jaguar Wright. It was never her. He put that out there. Other people ran with it. And now the Beam Team was constantly calling Jaguar booty oil. They made up a song. They was always singing it like every day, day after day. And it's a lie that was never true to begin with. I'm just trying to explain to you guys like how bad their behavior is. But they got the nerve to come over here and tell me I need to shut up and keep their name out my mouth. After all of the names that y'all had in y'all mouths. Here's World News. Solar, Velvet, Venus, Yakin, DJ Biblical Text, OG, Bobby Johnson, Genesis, and the TikTok connection. See? Harassing, stalking people who've done nothing to him. These people are not doing anything illegal or anything that deserves being stalked and having their privacy invaded. He's got audio, video recordings, and he knows when they having repairs done on their homes. He knows way too much about these people. Under one of his videos, stalking, harassing the carbonation people. For a little while, Velvet was staying with this girl here. And so World went out of his way to look up all her social media, and he started messaging her every day, telling her to come on the show. The girl wound up coming on the show. She said she only let Velvet stay with her for like a week or two, and Velvet was no longer even staying with her. So she's like, you don't have to be so aggressive towards me. The girl just let Velvet stay with her for a little while, and World took that as his opportunity to start harassing, stalking, and doxing her. Again, an innocent, defenseless young black woman. And you know what World was calling her? World was calling her the Tooth. Because her teeth are not straight. Her teeth are crooked. So he's calling her the Tooth. And look at his audience laughing along. A black woman. The lady with the tooth. Ha ha ha. He only did that. She only did that because World did that. So you have all of these black women who sit there and assist World in harassing, stalking, and doxing. Innocent, harmless, young black women all over social media on multiple platforms. This person is not smart enough to realize that there's something wrong with that and that she would not want somebody doing that to her. And the girl that they were calling the Tooth, when she did call into World News Show, she was very nice, kind, and polite. She didn't raise her voice. She was not mean. She wasn't rude. She didn't even tell them, why y'all stalking me? Why y'all stalking my social media just because I let Velvet stay with me for 2 weeks? Someone below that says, Velvet's still a child. You got it right, World. So if Velvet is still a child, why does World News have 150 million videos insulting Velvet, following her, tracking her every move? He's got videos talking about Velvet's baby bump because now Velvet is pregnant. If Velvet is just a child, why are these grown ass black women okay with world's overgrown, big ass, harassing, stalking, and doxing Velvet and everybody who knows Velvet. King World have the nerve to say, good for them. As long as people post their content and support them, they will be relevant. Somebody wrote below that, I told people time and time again, Velvet is in danger. He knows exactly what he's doing. So this is a video about Velvet. I don't know whose channel this is, but World News goes over to somebody else's Velvet video and says, as long as people post their content and support them, they will be relevant. Who's posting Velvet's content? World is. Do y'all see how stupid this guy is? He says, as long as people post their content and support them, they will be relevant. Look at World News here. Review of Velvet, baby bump. Wow. Velvet Marquez, other baby daddy. World again. Velvet Marquez asked for emergency funds. How does World know all of this stuff about her? He knows who her baby daddy is. He knows all about her baby bump. He knows that she asked for emergency funds. But he's going around telling people, as long as people post their content and support them, they will be relevant. It's you, World. You are the single person that has posted the most content about them on YouTube, keeping them relevant. Here goes World again. The morning show with King World. Velvet has a job. Velvet pregnant by Shaka. Velvet and Solar. Okay. Look at all these videos he keeps making about Velvet. He has these videos about these cult members that left and denounced Nature Boy, Kendra Carter and Aaron Dixon. Part 1 and part 2. Well, together this is 6 hours. Why did World make these videos? Because they posted that they were going to do a tell-all on their own social media, telling about their experience in Nature Boy's cult. So just like 2 weeks ago, when they announced that they were going to go live to talk about Nature Boy, World News started making these type of videos, putting them down. PPP loans, scams. These are things that happened when they was in Nature Boy's cult a couple of years ago. But now, just a couple of weeks ago, that they want to come out and tell a story. Look at King World harassing them and dragging them and bringing up their past as if they're the same people that they were back then. They're not. He did that because he's mad that they gave the interview to the Tease channel. They went and did the interview on the Tease channel live with Aaron and Kendra. Okay. So when they announced that they were going to do this, World made 6 hours of videos trying to put them down. This is the mind of World News. Sick. Someone left a comment under one of World News videos. They said, police visited Kulu today. You're next. Them boots on the ground. Where them boots on the ground at now? So this was just a couple of days ago. Police visited Kulu today. You're next. Where them boots on the ground at now? So he's saying this to World. You can see at the top, it says King World. This comment was left under a King World video. So I don't know why the police visited the Kulu. I don't know if it's because of what they did to Giselle by doxing her. I don't know if it's because of what they're doing to Danny Robertson by doxing that young black school teacher, saying that they've been following her for 3 months and they're going to show up. Or if it's all of the different people who reported them to the police and all of the different YouTubers who have orders of protection against World News. I don't know. But this person said the police visited Kulu today. This was just a few days ago. You're next, World. Where them boots on the ground at now? How come World and the Kulu haven't come out and made any videos telling us the police visited the Kulu? Why they don't want to talk about their own personal business? That's my question. All right, guys. So I want y'all to like, share, subscribe, support. My Cash App is Leilani for God. My PayPal and my email address is leilaniforgod@gmail.com. Stay blessed. Never fear the devil. If y'all see Beamteam members on social media, press them, ask them, make videos. Tell us what happened. Have your own individual videos. Have your own panels. Be just as vocal and detailed and specific in exposing World News into Kulu for whatever went on with the Beamteam, the same way y'all did to everybody else that y'all exposed and roasted and thought y'all was reporting on all the time that y'all supported World News. Stay blessed, and I'll see y'all in my next video.